So where are we? We are at Guildford. Alright, let's head over to Havant, which is where we want to go. Well, let's just give that a minute to render. For anyone wondering why it's taking a long time to render, it's because I've got everything set to ultra settings. And long distance viewing. Okay, that looks good now. So we should be at Havant. Yep. Alright, let's go and look what's down this neck of the woods. So the Hayling Island branch line platform would be roughly where these cars are parked now. So we're going to have to remove the alignment would follow along here. There'd be a level crossing here, and this kind of vaguely follows the road round, which in real life is just a pedestrian pathway. So let's open up Google Maps. And we'll just pause that. If I just lift this up for a second, you can actually see some of these trees. These are going to have to be planted. Of course, the level crossings on this game are glitched when you try to select something. You need to get rid of those. Okay, let's go. Hopefully we should now be able to start selecting again. Yep, that's better. Right, so let's bring Google Maps back in. So you can see the original alignment coming from. Original alignment will be from. A platform would have been here. And then it curves ever so quite sharply actually for a line. It's the original gate along these hedgerows. Follow that along. This car park would disappear. pathways here, you'd go underneath the motorway, and you'd carry on. Get rid of these houses. You can see the sea doesn't go out this far just yet. There might be another level crossing there. Let's see. The track would have curved around over here with the concrete poles are. The swing bridge would be there, and then it would follow. Just go to the sea, and you just see a path line going across the western side of the island. Basically follows the sea all the way around. And the station would have terminated just in this vicinity, just there in the car park. As I'm doing this on a modern day thing, if you don't know, part of the reverse and beaching stuff the government's currently doing is looking at reopening railways. This is on the round 3, so it's just kind of a mock-up of what the station would probably look like. So I think the station, if it was to be brought back into use, it would probably stop north of this industrial estate here. So I'd probably say the station terminates on a slight curved platform, which again is not something they're keen on doing these days because of the gaps between the doors and the platforms. We might straighten it out just a little bit. It depends on the angle when we get to this point. And potentially a car park come off here around the back of the houses, or for a dirt road or something. We'll make up as we go along around this last bit. And then it's pretty much houses from that point onwards. Those not familiar with Hayling Island, it does have its own narrow gauge railway, which you can see here. I probably won't make that. I do have a narrow gauge DLC, the Welsh Valley one. If I decide to make it, I'll probably make it, but we shall see what time's like. See how much commitment I can put to this. So it's quite far away, so we'll worry about that another time. But let's head back up to Havant and we can make of it. I've got a gradient profile on my other screen of the route. It might take a minute to render up again. Apologies for any little lag. So first things first, let's get rid of these pavements. What a single road. Some of these hedges, a wall. Maybe I'm clearing slightly more than I probably need to, is just so I can get a good balance. Another crossing over here. Significant link crossings. I don't know why they're so bugged. I'm going to move that to one side for the time being. I know it goes back here, but I need to figure out how to get it to fit. Those not familiar with today's health and safety, from what my understanding is, you don't put new third rail down. It's expensive and it's more dangerous than other modes like battery, diesel, and overhead. Obviously, southern trains are majority third rail. So we're going to base this on a. I'm going to leave the track template as third rail for the time being, and then we'll pretend whatever trains we use will be a battery multiple unit. So we need to make sure. I mean, more likely guess whether it be old class 158 Sprinter or the Isle of Wight new class freight forwards, I think it is, the D78s. Let's just see if I can. What am I looking for? More quickly change the train so I can see what it is, what trains I'm gonna potentially put down. Obviously, get the right length of the train as well. From what I've heard originally, there was planned to be an island platform here for the Hayling Island branch line, so you didn't have to worry about using the former bay platform on the left-hand side. What I think I'll do is for this first part of the video is just to clear the Haven area, lay the track as far as the harbour area, get the gradients down, just recheck a few areas, then possibly stream again next weekend and do the next part we'll connect up to Hayling Island, do a bit of landscaping, get the sea down. Right, let's head back over to Haven. While that's rendering, we'll just load up some trains, 377s. We're going to need to add in some more trains. Unfortunately, I don't have to create livery scheme for this region at the moment. I'm just going to use the first Great Western ones. You probably see the bay platform would accommodate, based on today's rebuilt Havant station, a 3-car carriers. Yeah, would accommodate a 3-car 159 or 158, sorry. Just trying to find out why the district line trains are not appearing. Just trying to remember. I thought it was in the virtual district team, but apparently not. Ah, that's the one I was looking for. We'll just plonk one here. So yeah, you would get a 4-car. Would become the class 484. Probably run as a third rail slash battery unit, BEMU, which could charge its batteries on third rail when it's stationary in the station, and then the rest of the branch line will be basically on third rail. Alternatively, you could use a class 158. A lot of people don't like diesels these days, so we'll leave them both in the both from there for the time being. Just make sure we've got whatever enabled on them. So I'm just going to make a note of the length of the. Oops. Oh, don't want to do that. Oh, I've got to do that all over again. Okay, so we'll go back into train route because I was a silly boy and I forgot to save it with the trains on. I'll be back in a second, guys. I just need to take a quick bathroom break. Right, guys, I'm back. Right, let's not make this mistake again. Right, head over to Havant. sorry about that. I just reply to an email quickly. Okay, so we've got a... '73 class one, 78 class. There we go. Okay. It's a tool pot. It might be you know. But they actually think, well, let's just have it brought into the tip of this platform after another train stopped at the top there. You know, they may have a separate platform, so you have A and B on both sides, depending on which trains are cleared, and then go down there. But trying to fit another set of points straight after this one here, maybe a bit tricky for bi-directional travel. I assume they'd probably add points in here and track going along here. Let's quickly get back to 158 back in and add you in. Right, let's remember to do this. Do this. Go to track editing. We'll save it this time quickly. Okay then, so we are going to... Right, the interesting thing is, this signal's going to have to be moved. Is there any other protective signals? No along here. So we got that signal, so this signal may have to get replaced. Ground shunting signals. Signals down there, that's fine. So yes, we can get rid of this signal, we're going to have to anyway. Get rid of that. Exit strip. For a moment, just going to get rid of these bits of road. Just give ourselves plenty of room to work with. We know that goes off there, so first thing we need to do is duplicate a bit of track. Give it an offset tool. About there, and we just set the offset. We'll gamble with 9, we'll go with that. Doing this way does take slightly longer, as it's got to re-render everything again. I don't know why, it just does. So. Okay, so we know it's going to be a tight squeeze trying to get a 4-car, be a 4-car freight 4 in there. So let's just, we know what the gradient is of this. 1 in 0. It's cool with me, that's easy to work with. Now you're probably asking why haven't I gone straight for a curve. That is because it's easier to do a tight curve on the alignment, connect up with existing track, and you just delete this afterwards. Actually, in fact, I should probably just over just a little bit more. And then we'll just add. It's not enough room for a platform to go squeeze in there. So we're just going to go over like this, take it past the building slightly. Just go tip that over. Hopefully we've got a 3-meter line. Yep. It's cool. Hope it's right around. Again, it takes a while to render. I'm not going to change most of the houses around here. I might change some of the trees to more 3D assets. Yeah, don't create more work than you have to unless you really are paying a lot more attention to detail. Okay, so that's one way around. Let's try that again. I mean, personally, I do prefer the Southampton to Bournemouth one, actually. Let's bring that one in. Dovetail Games, I think, is under. I just find the platforms on the Southampton Bournemouth line a lot more fresher and cleaner. That's something you're matching with the fact that this is a new line, an old line / new line being reinstated, and you should be able to get a nicer, clearer, darker tarmac colour going on. Okay, I'm bringing up the was it 3 metre or was it 5 metre? Sorry, I must have selected the wrong one again. Let's try it again. Scroll down there, down there. As we get down to Hayling Island, the rendering will become less of an issue because we'll be in less dense area. But yeah, that's what we wanted. Stay away from flickering, just bring it down a smidge. That makes it look more like it's a brand new platform that's gone in. So I'm not going to do the tamper yet. I'm just going to go and add this the truck back in as far as there. So now we need to add a crossover track. Okay, so I can't use the automated tools, so there's strange acute angles everything's going at, so let's just watch those 22 tracks. Exactly same. We'll keep with the we use the correct tracks. Right, the main line is a bit of a tight one. Let's get to 30 for the moment, just see how that pans out. I assume the trains would come from the Fratton depot to run on its service. We got there, we got Brighton, and then we've got go up to London Waterloo. So what we I don't know, do I go to the we could, I mean it's not a swing about putting one of the running lines back in or Hayling Island. The big platform was a lot more realistic. I know back in the mid-noughties they planned on keeping the third line with a separate platform, but due to platform being quite narrow, which would be a 3-metre wide one, it wasn't considered safe for fast passing trains. Yeah, we'll keep it the bay platform for the time being, so that's where it was historically. Assume that's what it would potentially be going forward. I could be wrong. I'm going by what I've heard. So we're just going to, what's the platform? It's a bit short. I'm just going to extend up to about here. And then we'll add another about 5 metres for our tamper. So we'll stop it there. And then that's where the gap is. And we'll just spin around and we'll just bring it down to the ground. Like so. What we'll just do from this point is we'll just quickly add in a fence. See if that's the right one. Yep, that's the fence I was after. It's a bit glitchy. I'll sort out with some signposts, we can easily hide most of that. We won't worry about the signals just yet. start laying the track out before I can. So one thing you want to do is, as you go along, is just make sure you've got the offset correct for the type of trains you plan on using. And these are D78s, are the primary ones that I plan on using on this route. Sprinters, now I'll give them a try as well, just make sure they work and fit. They should do. Right, so look at the gradient profile. In the old days, the points would have actually gone. I'm looking at the map correctly. Yeah, so Bay platform would have actually gone. This way round would have gone across here and across here. I prefer to the far side to allow to run the Waterloo and Brighton, but again, it would be a major resignaling project. I don't think it's something that they would do. They'll just potentially add something here because the tracks are designed for bi-directional running. So it just doesn't make sense to massive of signalling over there. Haven't already got got direct service to Waterloo and Brighton. This Bay platform doesn't need that. Doesn't need a direct service over there, so we won't use it. Most trains will terminate at Fratton or Portsmouth, to be honest, unless there's engineering works going beyond here, in which case everything terminates in Havant anyway. Right, let's go back onto this. So we need to bring up Google Maps again. Just make it slightly darker. Push it down. So we can see here the track goes around quite sharply, so we're going to need to use the... Most people don't like it because it doesn't render the points properly, but I think I'm going to have to use the yard settings again. As you can see, yeah, use the yard. The only thing is, I don't know what the original speed limit is, so I'm going to leave it at 30 for this section for the time being. So we're just going to yard. So immediately after leaving Havant, supposedly goes down minus 88, about a quarter of a mile. So train simulator does things in meters rather than miles. So you have to use Google if you don't know your maths like me. I don't know my maths. So we're probably looking at about so one box is 1 mile. Oh, I'm gonna have to chin grab my ruler. Let's say we'll just take the track down as far as there, and we'll just check the signalling and all that on the platforms is correct. So we're looking at 3 centimeters a square. Probably looking at about a third of a mile. So 0.3 miles in meters. So that's 482.8 meters. So we'll need to go down here to negative 88.0, and then we're going to have to go for 482 meters. The thing is, I can't quite get the exact alignment. This is the only problem with this game, it can be a bit fiddly. do I have the right? What am I looking for? No, I don't want that. Training port, that's what I wanted. Let's get rid of that. This is actually the correct terrain height for this square according to what I've got. I mean, nothing's accurate in this game. It's a bit hit and miss. So, how long was that track? That's 130, so what's that? 350 meters to go, 350. What we should do is just import the rest of the terrain for the surrounding area and import. Just go with some of these houses and stuff. So 191 meters of. So what's that? Another 290 meters to go. I'm going to lower the terrain down just a smidge. We're on 155 meters to go. I'm surprised how much the track actually falls away when you start laying it out. Right, it should now decrease by 540, which is much more shallower. With all these trees, it's kind of hard to actually see what it is you're laying down. I mean, this height does make sense because you would have a tunnel. I don't know if the tunnel's still there or not. I think it is for public use, but I believe there is a footpath underneath the motorway, which is why we need to have the track lower. So it seems a bit odd, but as you get lower, you understand. Hopefully, this all works out. You'll understand. All right, let's. So we're going to do what, a 540 decrease of the gradient for exactly 1 centimetre. So that's about a third of a mile again. So what do we say a third of a mile was? 482.8 meters. So at 349 at the moment. in 133 more meters. Yeah, 100 meters more. $106.8. Increase it a bit more. Chances are this motorway is not quite correct height anyway, so we can easily adjust that. And there we have it, people. How unstable this game can be at times. Oh, hooray! Let's go back up and running. It's rendering some distance terrain at the moment, so I'm just going to let it finish doing that. Right, so from this point, again for the remainder of the third of a mile, it decreased by 330, so let's change that down. Go to track. It's another 482 meters. Now this should be a perfect straight, so we're just going to look from about here. It's a perfect straight. Nope. As it was 482. It's not easy trying to get a perfect straight line. Oh, there is just right. And then we'll just connect up from here. So I'm slightly going off the actual full gradient, just because it's never that easy. So from here we would end up going moving around. It would terminate just here by the right hand side for today. We'll do a quick platform check and signal check. Just make sure we've got, so I'll process about accuracy, that is 400 or so. So yeah, that's as straight as I'm probably going to get. And then this is, actually I think it's level, right, so on to the next mile. So that's the first mile pretty much done. Second mile again is 3 centimeters wide. So, so we're looking at a sixth of a mile onto the next mile, which is again minus 330 gradient. So I'm going to assume that is down to where the road is, which would be a level crossing. I'm sure we should know about there. And then it's leveled. So I'll change that, that's just 0. Just lower the terrain just down a bit, just so we can see the track. The gradient actually goes upwards. I'm going to assume this road will, yeah, so whoever, that's probably going to run close to the property. I think if they do reinvent this, bring this route back, they're going to have to bring in a new road. Again, they like to avoid level crossings where possible, so you may find out they're going to have to run off a new road down here and across, probably redevelop this area, get some money back. Down here, round here. This road's not going to be here though, is it? So I'll have to go into proper Google Maps because I can't see it from here because I need to see the actual terrain. So let's Google have it quickly. So Langstone Road is what we're on. So where are we now? We are looking at, so this is Mill Lane. I'm looking on Google Maps for the moment. I'm thinking it goes across there. I don't think it does. This is tricky. This is probably when routes are kind of obliterated and redeveloped. It's quite much harder to see. Yeah, looking at the map, it looks like it goes on down to Mill Lane, but shoots off to it. So I think what it could do, if they try to do it, the route looking on a much nicer version of Google Maps actually shoots off just to the left of this road. So this road could, in theory, be brought down here, and then the track runs just to the side of it. We'll do that. So we know it's level, what's the level crossing? Change that back to yard. So that is how I depict it. So this road would probably get redeveloped and brought up here. Yeah, come off here and run down there. So there's no level crossing there required. Potential level crossing there though. So from here onwards, it's 200 increase until we get to where these. So it's 200 up to this point here. Gone too far for Google Maps. Let's bring it back a little bit. Oh. Okay, so it's a 200 increase. Now, we're going to end the track here, obviously, but just to make sure we've got it accurately, we are going to just draw a straight piece of track across there. Straight after this swing bridge, probably about there. So yeah, this track will be much higher. So obviously it's a swing bridge. Bridges need to be somewhat high. Probably sounds about right, correct height. I say negative 200 from this point. find a place where it's happy to join up. And personally, I think that's more a straight line to there. Okay, that looked like it connected. Nope, don't want that. Actually, that's pretty good. We've got a bit of scenery while after. I mean, ideally, you could do something a bit sandy. Gravel loft. I think the grass loft would be better on this side. This side would use and chances in real life they'd probably reinforce it and all that. Let's just go. What does it say on Google Maps? That's normally a good thing because you've got Street View, and Street View you can actually see what it is. If it's a retaining wall, if it's a natural embankment. So yeah, the inside's a natural grass embankment. Probably want a gravel embankment actually. That'd probably be that'd be better actually. No, that's grass embankment. Zoom away just so we get some of that distance terrain. I mean that's ideal on the other side, so we'll keep that one in mind. That's what I wanted. Grass plain cloth. I will just see if that embankment kicks in. Just increasing the embankment. We'll play about this again later once I come back to it. It's just to get some depth. Right, give the embankment its true feeling. Between us is really water, so most of this will be brought down. I'll show you some tricks on how you can do that. Now, in the old days, the tall yachts would come out here, use a swing bridge, and go off and sail around around Portsmouth and Hayling Island and off to the Isle of Wight. I don't think they would do that nowadays. They'd probably replace the road bridge with a raising bridge and then drench the mud in real life. If you look on Google Maps, they'd probably do the long route round down the low tide rivers, trench all this out, and people will come out the east side of Hayling Island and then off to, I don't know, Bognor Regis, Portsmouth, Gosport, the Isle of Wight. And swing bridge on railways are not always the greatest. Requires a lot more signalling. It's not as straightforward as probably it should be. Road bridges, there's plenty of them around. Pool's got a few of them. Not reliable, but it works. It's easier to do it on roads than it is to do it on rails. So we're going to block this route off to the yachts, and when we go over to this bit, we'll just tense the raising bridge. I don't care, it's not a logistics transport game like Cities in Motions or anything like that, so I don't care. Right, so yeah, I'm going to end the route just here, just short of Langstone Harbour. We're just going to go back just over the route. Just needs to be a 4 there. Just trimming track back. Maybe even lower 3, maybe 3. We'll go 3. Again, this all gets tidied up at a later stage. At the moment, this is about track laying, making sure the alignment's correct. Again, this would be a bridge would need to go there. It's too short, we need a motorway bridge. So look like that would do nicely. What I normally do is at this point I would bring the train down, just make sure I've got the correct. That's probably why it's rendering so long. It's hidden. Yeah, there's hidden lamp bulbs. Not sure about. Oh, that's level crossing. Would that be a level crossing? No, that is also a bridge. That's the bridge I wanted. And this was something I'll come back to later. It's just a point of reference. Again, I need to get the height of the train, which so the motorway would probably potentially be higher anyway. Again, here, this would be a probably a brick bridge. Again, this is just a point of reference. It's not 100% accurate at this moment in time. When you're adding to a route, you need to remember that the developers didn't have this in mind when people, or route creators, have this in mind when people decide to expand on a route, because it just doesn't exist. Granted, that is a gravel track. I'm not a it's more so for railways than anything else, but I don't care. That doesn't exist. Again, just flip that round. It tips up. Again, it doesn't have to be accurate straight away. You're adding routes. As you're close as possible, I think people appreciate that you've done it with minimal, when doing routes, use as least amount of DLC as possible if you want it to be noticed on Steam. If you have too many things, people who are new to it who really want to play it, it's like, no, I just haven't got that DLC. So I want to do Google Earth. This is a new top brick. Actually, that's a lot better. Actually, more accurate to what's actually there. Granted, in real life it's a little hump bridge rather than a flat. Again, this is much lower than it would be. Again, I just need to bring the train down, get the height of it, raise the roads, and as you can see, the terrain, is not accurate on one side, so we just need to bring one of the trains down and just slightly measure up. So I don't know if I've got this working yet, this train, so I might. We'll try it. Just get the signals in. think the stop sign will be around about there somewhere, just before the thing. Try not to mix up signals as well. I know they can be a bit of an issue at times. Don't have much option. UK Pro, that's what I was after. Is that UK Pro signals here? Yeah, Pro signals. That's fine. Because this is a branch line, probably use. I I do tend to put a passing loop on it halfway down, so yeah. I don't think there's a 2 asterisks platform. No, there's not. So we'll have to use the 3-tier one. No one's going to really know. Just plonk it there for the time being. Go there. Go there. Just make sure you set it correctly. Set it to 30. Approach. Go to aspects. Probably not. Want to wait for the passing loop, so we might put a repeater signal somewhere between there and that passing loop I intend to put at a later date. So this is a I'm just going to randomly name this HT 201 for the time being. I could be completely wrong, it could be something else. So what's this one? Let's say Pro 3 TH2, so we're TH3. And you can see some of the signaling differences. It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit weird. So Waterloo, Brighton, and Hayling. So this will be HT, make sure it's in capitals, 200. So M, B, H, make sure that was 30. Let's pull back a little bit. B is limited aspects. Because we're going to be doing shunting maneuvers, this is also going to have to be a signal here. You're not going to get a limit of shunt before that. It's going to annoy the drivers, but who cares? I'm just going to invest millions in demolishing and building the bridge. So you have an option around it. Right, so let's bring this road down a smidge, just below the track. Back just a bit. Just going to save it because it's when it stutters, it worries me, so I'll go straight into save mode. that bit's done, we're just gonna say again, curve level crossings done. It's kind of tricky. Well, as I say, we do level crossings last because they've got a habit of being buggy when you're trying to add and delete things and move things around. So you should have to use your imagination for a little bit of this. Where's what am I looking for? Oh, buffer lights. So I need to put some down here. I'm doing slightly off centre to the left. That's where the driver's cab would be. Move that just a little bit more. Yeah, I assume the last service of the day off the Hayling Island will actually probably go into platform 2, I believe that is, so that's kind of away from London. And probably terminate there, or do a stopper service all the way from Hayling to Fratton or Portsmouth maybe. I don't know. So, yeah. So we're just going to raise the terrain up now that we've done. Just going to use a buff 12. Increase the size on that. I'm still miles off the height, but Most of you, no one's going to really curl out. Some house is being sunk into the ground. And we'll smooth out the train a bit, just making sure. So what's the actual train height here? It's 13. So we do 13 for the rest. This junction, trying to avoid hello, I can't pronounce your name, you got lots of random letters in it. Alright, so that's the height of, yes, roughly, as I say, I'm going to come back to that later. So that's going to be a level crossing. We're going to need a signal here to tell the driver if he's going to go into the Hayling branch line bay platform, or if he's going to be going off onto the main line back towards Portsmouth. I think a theatre might be one. Hi Tyler, how you doing? So we're just going to create a 2 theatre 1, that's wrong one, UK LED Pros at the bottom. Okay, so we've got theatre on platforms. Theatre's gone. Again, signals just in a rough place, so we're just going to plonk that one there. 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 Okay, so we need to make sure we set this one correctly. So that's going to platform 3, platform 2, that's 1, platform 2. Approach to a bay platform, I think is 15 miles an hour, I could be wrong. That can be 30, let's go on to the main line. We'll do that as an approach control shall come to an end with a signal. Just right, so we are. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at the map. Central player. Okay, so let's just label this up. We're going to do mark a platform, and we're going to do it from to about here. Because we kind of, I'm basing this on a loose, so it's potentially going to be a BMU route. We'll add third rail up until the end of the platform. So the offset for third rail is 1.1. And third, we'll do third rail box because it's more safe. Right? It is near a near an area, so we'll just do that. Wait for it to render. Yeah, I mean the box one looks quite good. Right, so let's just add a. I don't need to at this point. It's just because I'm a bit OCD. Let's just. I think the rules for having a fence on my third rail is about 6 foot 2 meters. I'm just going to do a slightly wider one, just so it's roughly in line with that building. Because everything else is white around here. Let's just make everything in. Let's keep it stay white. It's supposed to be new, it's supposed to be fresh. An old route being brought back to life. And we'll just finish that off with. Ah, that's nice. That's nice. It fits in. Alright, that's just my OCD doing that. Right, so we need to lower the fence down on this side. Okay, that is cool. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bring the D78, or what would be a class 434 with BMU version. This is third rail. All the track along says third rail because we don't have battery units at the moment, or at least not to my knowledge. So let's just save that. And the chances are the car park could potentially shrink because people from Hayling Island wouldn't need to catch the bus or drive a car or whatever to the station. And by removing, my logic is removing the like a car parking for a new train service to an area that you don't need to drive to and from anymore. Kind of makes sense. Right, let's try it out. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Make sure the signals work. That's because I modified the signal in front of a train. And thank you for the follow, Tyler. That's much appreciated. I say, once I've got the tested signals and got the bridge heights correct, I'm going to call it quits on that point. If you want to watch it back from the start, you can watch it on YouTube. It'll be available later this evening. Yeah, that's about it. I've been doing playing about with route editing for nearly 10 years now, since Train Simulator 2011, 2012, something like that. So I've done various Isle of Wight routes. I plan on doing another version of it once the new track layout's been done. I've got a couple of the models I can use on the redeveloped Braden platforms. Some to keep an eye out for later in the year. So let's head back to what was it? Haven't. Might take a minute just to load through. It's really strange. From what I've read, the Hayling Island branch line was very profitable. The only reason I got axed in the beaching axe was purely down to the fact that the swing bridge needed repairing or replacing, which was its only downfall. Otherwise, it potentially could have survived. Right, I'm risking it here by clicking play before it's fully rendered. Now, again, I don't honestly know if I've got the. I need to fix that. So the whole point of testing, fix things like walking lofts, things like that affect the platform, affect passengers. Right. Right, so we know the signals work. We've got H for Hayling. Just make sure it's going to work on the others, so we should go there. So that's for Waterloo. And I'll just make sure the line to Brighton is done. And Brighton, so we've got the so that's working fine. So just change that back. Now it should be. We're off to Hayling Island, aren't we? Well, yeah. So I don't think I've got the correct models installed. Yeah, so we're going to reverse that. Need to go back and fix that. So we will cheat a little. I'll release that, go forward, clear that. So I didn't get the proper signal. In real life this would never happen, so just ignore me. It's my bad on the on the fact I didn't put the correct stuff in for the tube trains, which I planned on using. I'll get that looked into. I'll look into it, get it fixed. Do that, do that. So I'm going to back onto that. Just coast on in. In real life, you'd never see this happen. Incorrect coupling and all that. So yeah, pretty spot of that length of platform. One thing's just bothering me. Load editor. Pushed over just a smidge more. So yeah, I guess plenty more platform space. Fine on this side. Okay, not sure where that's gone. Right, we'll save that, adjust the 2 bridges further around, and then I'm going to be calling it quits for lunch and go watch the Formula 1 qualifying. I'm just going to, yeah, I do not want to leave them. We'll leave them a couple, I don't need to worry about that. So, So at some point I'll come back to this, adjust the height, smooth it down a little bit, and on that side as well. That's about right. I mean, in real life, this bridge is, I think it's East Street. It's actually a hump bridge, so you would hump over, obviously. I haven't got that assets and trying to use as little assets as possible. Next bridge will be the motorway, and then after that, I'll probably drive it down to the end of the line, and then call it quits for yeah, go from there really. Do another stream of me doing this route. Maybe next weekend, maybe. So again, this is just a temporary thing. I'll come back to this later and finalise off the things, move the wall over, build up a retaining wall kind of area. Just noticed there is a very unsubtled dip along here, so I'm just going to smooth it over with the smooth tool. It's much smoother. And from here, this is where I will end this current video of rebuilding the Hayling Island Railway. The next video would be the extension of the railway just across this bridge and heading down towards an island. And we will go from there. Until next time, hopefully next Saturday. Have a good day.